What is up, everybody? I'm No Lux Given, and today we are going to be taking a look at my very first game on the brand new hero, Rumplestiltskin, and I'm going to be going over a strategy that I'm calling Rumple Rolling. I'm calling it that mostly for the alliteration, but this is a strategy that I talked about in my patch notes review that I thought would be very simple yet very effective on Rumplestiltskin. You're not going to be able to use this strategy every single game with the hero, but the games where the pieces align and fall into place are going to be very, very powerful. Now, the other thing that I did mention with this hero is that on games where you find an early shrink spell, you'll probably hang on to your spinning gold for just a little bit longer. That's because you're able to get an early lead with a shrink spell, and then you don't have to use your spinning gold to get an early lead as well. But this game, we're going to be doing a little bit of both. We're going to get an early lead here with this shrink spell, allowing us to play 3 units on turn 2. Not super powerful units or anything, but 3 units nonetheless, and a Sherwood Sure Shot in there, so that could be nice. So right now my plan is to hang on to this spinning gold. However, the 2 instances where you want to rumple roll, and I mentioned that it's kind of like doing an impression of the Fates. Well, the 2 best units that you can get fated onto are three blind mice and Humpty Dumpty. And in this shop we see a pair of Humpty Dumpty, so what I'm going to do is use my spinning gold, get up to 8 gold, and then I was planning on using the rest of my gold to roll for this turn. And we find a Humpty Dumpty immediately, so we are quite rewarded, but I was ready to roll down for it because an early Easter egg treasure can just be so powerful. So I was ready to go for it here, and then I just wind up firing off a roll the die just to cast 1 more spell. I didn't really care about the Wizard's Familiar too much there, and we are going to have the stats, luckily, to allow our egg to stay alive. Unfortunately, our Sherwood Sure Shot and our Happy Little Tree are unable to do so, but those are good units in the future to potentially get some buffs off Easter Egg. And from here, we're just playing a game with Easter Egg. We've basically traded our hero power for an early Easter Egg and upgraded Humpty Dumpty. And I think that that's worth it. That's basically the crux of the Rumple Roll. Sometimes you're going to use it to grab blind mice early on in the game. Sometimes you're going to use it to grab Humpty Dumpty, and the thought process is basically that, well, you're not gaining that much gold from your spinning gold Rumplestiltskin hero spell. You actually are, because rolling during those early turns of the game is actually so much more profitable than it would be when you wind up rolling later on, because you're not as likely to find those same units. So now we're just going to play an Easter egg game, and I've got a ton of Easter egg videos on my channel in the past week or so. I've become very, very intimately familiar with this treasure. So from here, we're just going to try to finish it out with Easter egg as strong as we possibly can. I get pretty lucky that I roll the die into the Ogre Princess that I was definitely in the mood for here, and then I've got some interesting options, and I think I'm going to pick up another Ogre Princess, and ultimately I think that that is where I want to transition this gameplay into, because Ogre Princess is just a really strong character. So I'm going to unlock from this Sherwood Sure Shot and Happy Little Tree pair and just see if we can't triple the Ogre going forward. We are going to get 1 Ogre Slay, so that's nice, and Humpty Dumpty should be able to clean up the rest of it, but it's really close. It survives with exactly 1 health, so whew, okay, but we're still doing good, and now we can throw a prized pig in the back line, and this is when you really start to get cooking with the Humpty Dumpty and the Easter egg treasure. I pick up another Lonely Prince, and I'm thinking it would be nice to be able to transform, or upgrade rather, a Lonely Prince, and then I've got another large unit that can help my backline survive a little bit more. Don't find it. I wind up finding a Cinderella as well as a shard of the Ice Queen, so kind of a weird move here, but I'm gonna go ahead and shard my Happy Little Tree. It's like on its way out basically, and this gives me a kitty cut purse, which I'm actually down to keep around for another second. I'll put in this 412 kitty cup purse, try to grab some extra gold from that, extra gold from the prize pig, extra gold from Ogre Princess. We're definitely greeding a little bit more, but we're Rumplestiltskin. We gotta go for the gold, and unfortunately, unlucky for us, this Miri is actually quite big, and the combat works out very awkwardly for us. We get our egg cracked going into 4.0. Not the best place, but also not the worst place to be, because when you are trying to win with Easter egg, there's a lot of good characters that you can win with on level 4. So I'm fine trying to pivot into some of those. I think that can be fine. And here I just kind of have to take Cloak of the Assassin because it gives us so much stats on the board, pumping up our Ogre Princess and our Kitty Cuppers that can allow us to get additional econ. Despite normally not really valuing Cloak of the Assassin super highly, I do think that it's pretty good here. I am considering this Polywoggle in the current shop, and I was also considering the Lightning Dragon in the last shop, for the main reason being that Cloak of the Assassin does somewhat reward us for picking up Riverwish Mermaids, which will now additionally give +3/+3 to units that don't have a Slay ability. And that includes Lightning Dragons, so might want to pick up some Riverwish Mermaids going forward, but for now, we are going to get the Slay with Ogre Princess and Kitty Cup Purse, and I'm feeling pretty good about our chances to pivot this into something strong, something fun. We don't get to keep our prize pig gold this turn, but we do get a Lightning Dragon, so that's basically like 4 gold, because that was a unit that I was considering buying anyways. But now I am definitely in the market for a Riverwish Mermaid. I'll also pick up a Feasting Dragon, which has +3/+3 thanks to the cloak, so that one is looking pretty good. And then I'm going to roll down and find ourselves a Riverwish Mermaid. So I've got to sell off 2 of my characters to pick this one up, but I think I can sell off this Prize Pig and this Sherwood Shore Shot. Neither of those are really doing too much, and I'm going to do kind of a weird support here. I'm putting Riverwish Mermaid in slot 7. You don't typically see it there other than when you already have the horn, but certainly as your first support character you don't see it there, but that's because Cloak of the Assassin, I'm actually just using this Riverwish Mermaid to give +3/+3 to my Frog Prince as well as my Lightning Dragon, but I still want Ogre Princess to, that's what I want priority on slaying, as well as the Kitty Cup Purse and as well as the Feasting Dragon, and all of those characters are going to slay. So I don't really care what else happens in this combat. Take a little bit more damage, we don't kill my opponent's prize pig, but we just did so good for ourselves. We just got a whole bunch of extra econ, and speaking of econ, we're going to pick up a bounty board here, as well as another Lightning Dragon and another Riverwish Mermaid. So we are really off to the races. I do consider that there is a Masquerade Ball in the shop. Seems pretty powerful when we've got a bunch of tier 4 characters, and I do think that I lock onto it here. Mostly because the characters that aren't tier 4 are tier 3, and I'm somewhat interested as well as potentially finding another Riverwish Mermaid and another Lightning Dragon. Triple those up, trying to find Horn of Olympus, and transfer this into a really good comp, because we have been slowly taking some damages. I would say that Rumpelstiltskin's hero power did what it's supposed to do. It was really strong in the early game and helped us greed a little bit to get to this point in the game, but now we are on our own, we're flying solo. I'm going to backline the Ogre Princess as well here now, because I care about that slaying a little bit more and don't want it to get attacked into. But we're doing absolutely fabulously here. The Ogre Princess never even gets to attack, but we do wind up with 5 bonus gold from that combat, so really good stuff. I do consider picking up some Cupids as we are against the lobby leader, but I think that I'd rather just roll for some 4s and make some better uses of that. We also see Lancelot a few times in these shops, but I don't really think that I am interested in it just yet. I'll find the Riverwish Mermaid triple, and that gives us an interesting option. We could take Krampus's Slay, but probably stealing like a tier 3 treasure against Celestial Tiger, which I'm not super excited about. So from here, I'm just gonna reorder my board a little bit more, and I think I actually roll and find a pair of 9 sea terrors. So this is a little bit last minute to try to make everything work, but I'm gonna sell 3 characters and grab a 9 sea terror at a 14-14. I think that that's just a really, really large unit, and then I'm gonna lock on to a second 9 sea terror. The other reason that I'm doing that is because Ogre Princess is now giving us tier 5 characters, and I'd like to potentially triple those and make some tier 5 treasures happen. So Ogre Princess is not going to get the sleigh, unfortunately. Walk away from that one taking 6 damage. A little bit awkward, but we'll pick up another siren, and now we are up against the ghost. So gonna take a Horn of Olympus off of the lightning dragon triple. That is really, really fantastic. That means now everything in the front row is getting supported by lightning dragon. I'm gonna toss the cloak there. Maybe I should toss the Easter egg, but we're playing up against the ghost. I'm sure we'll be fine, right? I will use a free roll to flip Cinderella. Not super interested in any of those treasures, especially over the ones that we already have, but I am interested in picking up another River Wish Mermaid. And then I'm also interested in picking up a Baba Yaga. Again, especially against the ghost, I feel like I can greed just a little bit here, get that sleigh with Ogre Princess, get those sleighs with Lightning Dragon. That's going to give me a bunch of bounty board gold, 2 free tier 5 characters with Ogre Princess, and hopefully Southern Siren can still make it so that we win this combat. And it looks like we're not going to have any problem doing so. We're going to have a ton of bonus gold, and then yeah, like I said, Southern Siren is going to slay as well, and that is a pretty easy win, and then we get some more Easter egg out of it. So I wind up getting a Lancelot for free. Maybe we'll do something with that. It would be cool to get a Lancelot online, but for right now, I'm going to be playing this Shoulder Fairy, and now I just want to roll for some more Baba Yagas. I do see the Lightning Dragons, and I think that those could be good. I also wind up picking up another Southern Siren to replace the one that we sold. If we can triple that, that would be somewhat nice. And then Evil Eye, of course, we've got to add that to the board. I throw this Southern Siren on, and it makes me realize that Lancelot is very, very close to activating here, which is pretty sweet. I'm going to wind up picking up a Baba Yaga, because if we take a look, the Baba Yaga with the Evil Eye and the Horn will actually activate Lancelot, which is great. And from here, I don't know. I mean, we have perfect treasures. I don't even think that I really care about the treasure from Lancelot. I care more about scaling this Lancelot into the late game, and that's what I'm going to concern myself with. We're on 5.2. So it's awkward to lock, but I'm going to have basically infinite gold this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and lock onto another Baba Yaga. And unfortunately, Lance gets a little bit targeted there with the Pigomorph shrinking it and then it getting attacked into, but I think we'll still have enough stats, especially when we steal a full board of rotten apple trees from my opponent. That's going to allow us to win, put Wonder Waddle down to 1, and now we are doing it. So I could pick up Hand of Midas here. We've got 48 gold to roll with this turn, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to roll with this. I didn't remember picking up the Hercules, but I don't wind up doing so. I'm just going to wind up skipping all of these treasures. I think that Hercules is a fine pickup, Hand of Midas is a fine pickup, and Staff of the Old Toad is a fine pickup. But I'm just going to roll for Jormungand and do it the old-fashioned way. I don't think that I'm in a super big rush to discard any of this stuff. I am going to throw out one of my units so that way I can cast a Dream spell and use that to potentially pick up Gwen. I wind up seeing Zippy the zombie there, which I did mention is a really good hero to dream into in the late game, but I'm just going to go for Pup. Just the ability to scale this Lancelot is all I need. If this Lancelot can slay, I think that we've already won this lobby. So not going to do anything too crazy, just going to slay with the Lancelot. It gets absolutely massive. I'm thinking, should I be playing the Baba Yaga now, especially while I've got Ogre Princess and I can greed for that? And I probably should have played the Baba Yaga this turn. The River Wish Mermaid will be more slays eventually for Jormungand. At least I think. I don't know. The math gets so complicated. When you have 2 upgraded Baba Yagas, I don't even know if I've gotten to this crazy of a point with the slay comp, but we are doing just such powerful stuff, and getting multiple slays in each turn, and all of this is getting impacted by our bounty board, which means we have 170 cash. We're basically holy grailing every single turn. I don't even bother cycling through the characters in the shop because we just don't have enough time. I could full transition to trees right here if I wanted to, kind of similar to my video yesterday that I put out with Ogre Princess. That could definitely be a strategy, but the bigger differential between this video and my video yesterday is we have Horn of Olympus and Evil Eye. We have these perfect slay treasures, and I want to make some use of that. I saw the Princess P, and I'm like, that could be fun too. I'm not really sure how we are supposed to transition this board, but honestly, I don't really think it matters. I think that we are just so strong that nothing our opponents are going to be able to do is going to be able to stop us. We get in with the Lightning Dragon, we get in with the Lancelot, Princess P goes down by my opponent's Shadow Assassin, but those two slays are going to be enough, along with another Lightning Dragon slay, that our Jormungand is just going to be absolutely massive, and it doesn't even come down to the Jormungand. My opponent can't even take out this Lancelot, so that's going to be an easy win. I do want to be prepared that some of my opponents are going to have played against me now. This Celestial Tiger could potentially start to pick up Soul Tax. I don't know if that's going to be enough to help them, but definitely something to consider. And right now I'm up against the Ghost, so I was thinking I could go for Ogre Princess, but we could also just go for Princess P and try to scale that while we are up against the Ghost. That's one interesting way to potentially try to play around Soul Tax, is to have some other characters that can slay. Honestly, Medusa isn't a terrible pickup. We just rolled past two of those, but we're going to pick up some Princess Ps and try to go crazy with those. I'd love to triple that if we still can. We've got a few more seconds, and if not, then we can also be on the lookout for Knighthood and Evil Twin next turn, so that's something to consider. Kind of wish I had Zippy the zombie, but we are doing pretty good here without it. Not too bad, and it looks like Princess P is going to slay against this opponent as well. So Princess P is now going to have a bunch more stats on it. It only really had to slay one time, and it's just going to get absolutely massive. We'll be able to triple it up, and that'll give us a massive backline as well, which I think is really helpful in case we potentially get scammed. Somebody picks up Soul Tax and Rotten Applewoods and things like that. I wind up finding a Knighthood, and I just go for that. I think that's fine. We don't need to Evil Twin and actually triple something. As much as I would like the treasure, I do think that potentially a tier 6 treasure is the only way that we get more powerful on the board, and that emote there was me showing that my mind is blown and I don't know what to do because we have Holy Grail every turn and I'm feeling overwhelmed, and we are definitely rumple rolling now, right? So I'm going to pick up a pair of Jormungands, and I'm thinking that one of the only ways that this board gets more powerful is by adding another Jormungand to it, and then also, just so that way it can't get scammed, and then also potentially picking up a tier 6 treasure. And we're going to grab that Jormungand upgrade right as the clock expires. Wish I could have grabbed Pandora's box, but unfortunately, now we are not going to be able to do so. So no Pandora's box for us, but we are going to have a pretty easy win up against this Merlin. They don't have any tech cards for us, so we're going to hit them for a bunch of damage, but they did take out a few of our characters. So this is not going to be a kill. We're going to hit them for 18, down to 8. So Pandora's box not really doing anything for us at this point. Singing Sword is just a little something. So I pick up Singing Sword, and my plan here is to cut Lightning Dragon specifically because I think that it will my opponent, one of the only ways that we lose is my opponent picking up a Soul Tack. But then we get to pick up a Mimic Chest, so now we have the full Slay trifecta of treasures. And that is why I Evil Twinned the Princess P. Figured I could spend the rest of my turn just rolling for the Princess P. But I have to decide, do I want to play both of these Princess Ps, or do I want to get the Lancelot in there? And I felt like if I'm not playing the Lightning Dragon, then I should play the Lancelot. And from here, I'm just going to lock onto a Pigomorph and then cycle through the rest of the shop. I can't think of anything better to do, and I'm not going to have a ton of gold next turn. So if we are somehow able to tie, I think I want to go for this. Now, we're going to wind up being fine. Our Lancelot is going to slay, our Princess P is even going to be big enough to get a 1 in 3 slay, or a 66% slay, and that is going to find a slay as well. So my Jormungand's are going to be absolutely massive, some of the biggest Jormungand's I've ever had. Again, I don't know if I should be playing double Baba Yaga or double River Wish Mermaid to make bigger Jormungand's, but either way, they are absolutely massive, and yeah, just quite incredible here. So really, really insane game. My Jormungand is going to slay against an Echo Wood and live. So just absolutely massive. We're going to get up into the 5 digits, almost actually, just short of getting to the 5 digits, and I think a really good showing for the brand new hero, Rumplestiltskin. Definitely didn't feel like a Rumplestiltskin game by the end, but maybe it did, because we were still swimming in gold and rolling a whole bunch of times, but that's kind of how Rumpelstiltskin's going to play out. After you use his hero power, you're on your own. So it's about how effectively you can use that hero power, and I think we used it pretty effectively in this one. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace.